All right, well, certainly a lot has happened over the last month at the American. Last month in April, we spoke about the addition of Wichita State, and then a couple of weeks ago, the conference announced its first ever strategic plan. Earlier this week, your contract extension was announced through 2022. Congratulations on that. What did the contract extension, what does that mean to you?
Well, thank you, Haley. It means that I get to continue to work for a great group of presidents and athletic directors and student athletes and coaches, and mainly the student athletes are the focus. I love this conference. I love what we've done. It's been a real challenge. We've faced a lot of headwinds. It hadn't always been fun. You know, the first year was pretty rough, but we reconstituted the conference and we're firing on all cylinders. I'm just thrilled to, that the presidents had, the confidence in me. But I think it's more about them and it's more about the conference. What I've got to do now is make sure we continue this tremendous momentum. We've got big challenges ahead, the TV deal, the P6 campaign and trying to become an autonomous conference. That's our goal and that's going to be our focus. So it's gratifying, but it's also very sobering because there are a lot of challenges ahead.
Yeah, you referred to the challenges. There's been a lot of those over the past 5 years, and you've been a tireless leader and advocate when it comes to strengthening this league's profile. What have you been most proud of so far in your time here?
Well, thanks for the kind words, but I think what I'm most proud of is the fact that our presidents and our athletic directors have bought in and they have made the commitment. Without the commitment, you can't achieve anything. As I say, I don't play the games. Our student athletes have heart. They have the heart of a lion. They play all these tough schedules. We challenge ourselves. But the other thing I'm really proud of is the fact that we have basically taken one thing at a time and patiently built something. We found a good name, the American. We found a great logo. We kept everything together when people said, it's not going to work. I thought there was tremendous potential here, so did our presidents and ADs. We then, got good sites for our men's and women's basketball championships. We obviously worked out a TV deal that gave us great exposure. Not enough money yet, but down the road, we hope that that gets remedied. We then obviously played competitive schedules. I'm very proud of our office staff. We've got the best staff in the business. They do a great job day to day. They've kept everything, in great shape. And then finally, I think it's really the vision. We felt that we could become ultimately a P6. Everybody was skeptical. I don't think there's any question that people had doubts about whether we could ever do that, and they still do. But I think it's night and day from 5 years ago. What's the end game? Well, the end game is obviously being fully accepted and being part of those other conferences, which are the P5 and we now refer as the P6. And that's our goal, because what does that do? It gives our student athletes the ability to continue competing at the absolute highest level. It energizes recruiting, it energizes fundraising and donations. It gives us a better shot at TV. It's all catch-22. The TV may come first. But the point is, it gives us advantages that we want and need for our student athletes, coaches, for our administrators. And in the end, if we get there, great. If we don't, we will strive mightily. But I think we're going to get there. I really do.
The strategic plan is something that you feel will help this league move forward and accomplish a lot of these goals. There's 5 pillars of concentration in the strategic plan. What was it like putting this plan together, and how do you think the membership will use it moving forward as the American continues to evolve?
That's a great collection of questions. The strategic plan, there's nothing that comes down from on high that says you have to have a written strategic plan. A lot of what's in there we've already been doing, and we had a vision and we had an idea of what we wanted to do as a conference, but we felt it's about time we memorialize something. It's about time we put something in writing to show what we're doing. And by the way, that process will be valuable because it will reveal things. Things will emerge that we hadn't thought about. It was a great exercise. We had a great committee led by Jeff Comfer, an AD committee with FARs on it, with student athlete participation. But the plan has the right focus. Health and safety is first. Academic excellence is second. Athletic excellence is third. Obviously, we need to communicate. We need PR. We need marketing. We need branding. That's very important. And then finally, revenue generation is absolutely critical. But I think we have our priorities in order on the plan. We've set up real benchmarks that can be it can be referenced, that we obviously want to meet. So I think it's a document that I hope our membership, digests and ultimately, references from time to time. I thought it was well put together. Our communications people, led by Bernie Caffarelli, did a great job working with Rare Design, our marketing people, branding people to put together a wonderful design. I think it was extremely well received in the college community and the greater community. But I think it is a guidepost for the future. I think we do have a bright future, and I think the strategic plan is fundamentally a document that can guide us there.
You have big goals and a great vision for this conference. How would you describe your leadership style over the past 5 years, and what have you maybe learned the most?
I've learned a lot, and and you make mistakes along the way, but I think overall you keep your head down. You try to, as I said, take things one at a time, but you also try to have an overall vision. I Hali, didn't think we had any choice but to be a P6 conference. If you don't move in that direction, you're going to go backward. But I think in the end, there's a shared commitment, and I think the cohesion that the conference has developed. We're a challenger brand. We started in unusual circumstances. I've obviously learned a lot along the way. Leadership style, I hearken back to Mike Slive, who has been a great friend and mentor over the years. And Mike once said, there's a time to push and a time to maybe pull back. To me, leadership is every now and then you have to lead, in the sense that you've got to put forth not only your vision, but you've got to get it done. If you feel strongly about something, you've got to move your people in that direction. There were times I've had to do that. There are other times I believe strongly in consensus. You build consensus in the conference. There are other times when you might want to do something, but it's clear that your presidents and ADs don't, and you analyze it and you say, I think they're right, and maybe we don't go that route. I also believe leadership is camaraderie. I think it's important to communicate. That's huge. Often people will disagree with things you're doing, but if you're communicating and you're keeping them posted and they're involved, they really appreciate it. The other thing we've done in this conference, which I think is extremely valuable, we've kept our ADs involved in everything. There's some conferences where the presidents pretty much control the show, ADs aren't as involved. I felt from the very beginning that we should have our ADs involved, and our presidents never objected. They thought it was a good idea. Every conference call on any major decision, except for maybe a few board votes, have involved our ADs and presidents. The other thing, finally, is you've got a great staff, and you give them the leeway to do their jobs. I try not to, I obviously get involved, and you have to, but they're able to do their jobs. They're able to, do what they need to do. Got a great group, great staff. One last thing. Again, as I said earlier, I don't play the games. I don't do the great things that our student athletes are doing. They've elevated this conference. When UConn wins a men's national championship, I wasn't out there dribbling and shooting. When the women do what they've done, the UConn women, when we win those big bowl games, Houston and UCF, when we have all those top 10 and top 25 teams, they've done that. But what I'm trying to do is give a voice to that. I've tried to create a narrative as a leader and pound it home. And when they do something good, I want it to be part of a P6 narrative, and I want people to know about it. They have, as I said, the lion heart. They have the ability to go out and compete. I'm the voice. I give them, as Churchill once said, the roar. I try to just make sure that everybody knows that they're doing this. We try to be a friendly conference. We try to get along with people. So those are the kinds of things I think are part of the package. But in the end, this conference, leadership is leadership, but in the end, they have to buy in and they have to do it, and they've done it.
Now the country has watched the American grow as a league, grow its brand and its identity over the past few years, but it certainly hasn't come easy. What would you say are the key issues and challenges you and the league are going to face moving forward these next few years?
Great question. We've got headwinds we still face. There's no question about it. One, we've got to have people buy into the P6 narrative. Some have. Some are still a little snarky about it, but not for the most part. I think we also have to make sure that isn't the end game. We've obviously got other plans. And then we are facing some real difficult things. One, this autonomy business is not easy. Cracking that so-called P5 group is going to be very hard. Second, we don't have a contract bowl game, and that's very important. It's critical down the road to try to get one, but we're stymied at the moment. But we really want to be with the P5, and that's going to be a hard process. We're sharing revenue with the G5. That's an issue that down the road we'd like to get free of with the college football playoff. We obviously need a better TV deal in terms of revenue. Exposure's been great. We love our partners, ESPN and CBS. Our ESPN, our main partner, CBS, our secondary partner, but they're all great. And we need to get more revenue, and we need to get a broad TV deal that maybe takes into account what the online companies are doing. We hope we can do a multi-tiered package down the road, but we really value what ESPN and CBS have done for us. So that's going to be a major challenge, and it's a catch-22. Does that lead us to the P6, or does that, do we use the P6 to get a better TV deal? Probably both, in that sense. So that's a major challenge. It's going to be the real focus of what I'm doing over the next couple of years, because it's the future of our conference. We just need more revenue. We've done it without the revenue the other guys have. Remarkable job. We've had to be smarter. We've had to recruit smarter. We've had to do things differently. I compare us to a JetBlue or a Southwest Airlines fighting with the big carriers, United, American, Delta. We can't be the Big Ten or the SEC. We don't have to be. We have to fight differently. We have to be innovative. We have to do those Thursday and Friday nights in football. We can't say, oh, we're going to play Saturday, and if you don't put us on, we'll sulk away. Well, they wouldn't put us on Saturday necessarily, because, we'd be competing with those conferences. If George Washington had faced the British head on, the revolution would have lasted 2 weeks. He had to do it, he had to back up, he had to, plan his strategy and get stronger along the way. That's what we've done. We've been innovative. We've hired coaches differently. We didn't go out and try to hire the $6 million coaches. We would have failed. We don't go out and recruit the 5-star players for the most part, because they're going to go to Alabama or Ohio State or Auburn, and that's fine. Nothing wrong with that. Once in a while you get an Ed Oliver, and we'd love to get more. But the point is, we've concentrated more on the 1, 2, 3-star kids that have great ability, that are going to develop, that have a chip on their shoulder. We've just had to do it differently in so many ways. Now in basketball, it's a little different. We're going to be a really good basketball league, and we have great pedigree in basketball. We can get anybody we want. We've gotten great coaches. So in any event, and I don't want to not mention Olympic sports, where we're very good, and we have great baseball. We're in the College World Series. Your alma mater almost made it 90 feet away, and I know that was a heartbreaking thing. But again, all those things I think go into what we're trying to do, and we face, as I said, significant challenges, significant headwinds. There's no way we can be smug about our progress, and there's no way we can be Pollyannish either about what we face. It's not going to be easy, but I think with the shared, determination and commitment, and where we've gotten and what we think we have here, I think we can get there.
And we talk a lot about the long-term goals, and as the spring kind of rolls to an end here for this year, looking ahead to the near future, the 17-18 season, what would you say are some realistic goals as this Power 6 campaign moves forward for this coming year?
It's an important year. As you get closer to your TV deal, you want to have everything firing on all cylinders. It certainly didn't hurt the Big Ten that Urban Meyer arrived and Jim Harbaugh arrived, and Penn State resuscitated its program. That meant a lot as they went into their negotiation. And in our case, I think having another team on New Year's Day would be a big deal for us. I think we've got 5 pretty darn good football teams. We've got others in the middle that are going to improve. Our lower tier teams are going to get better. So I think we're likely to have a good football season. I hope we get a New Year's Day team this year. I see great improvement in basketball, men's basketball. Wichita was a shot of adrenaline for the league. It's been great, but also we've got a lot of teams on the cusp. UConn and Temple are going to come right back. Cincinnati's a powerful program. Houston's on the cusp. SMU's been very good. UCF rebuilt the program under Johnny. Women's basketball, I expect UConn to be right back where they were. They've got a great recruiting class. They got great players coming back. They have Gino. I just see they'll start another streak if I had to guess, although our league's getting more and more competitive. Olympic sports, I expect that we'll do very well. Baseball's really good. We've got excellent individual sports. So I see a very good year on the field and on the court. I want to keep up our tradition of academic excellence, compliance, which is very important. We have a good, knock on wood, a good record in compliance. And if we take care of business, I think we'll be poised for our TV negotiations.
Lastly, as you kind of have a chance to reflect on the past 5 years, what would you say you've enjoyed most about your job?
Oh, I think it's being invested in the competition and what the student athletes are doing, getting to know some of them, seeing how they achieve things. I spent 30 years or so in TV, and it's been a wonderful career. I said to somebody in an interview recently, I'm one of the luckiest people ever. I had a wonderful career. I loved doing it. But you root for ties in TV. You want that ratings needle to go up, and you take it's a certain bloodless kind of business, even though it's a lot of fun, and I enjoyed it immensely. This is different. You become totally invested in what your student athletes and your teams and coaches are doing. You have a proprietary interest in the league and the league as an entity, in achieving the vision. I love the job. I love dealing with the people, but I also love the variety of the job. This job is so different than it was 20 years ago. You know, I've known the commissioners over the years. I was in college sports for 30 years, as I mentioned, on the broadcast side. I did other sports as well. On any given day, you don't know what you're going to be doing. At the end of the day, you've done 20 things and you're not even sure you remember what you did, you know, but you're getting through it. I think this is one of the most interesting jobs anyone could have. It's one of the most interesting jobs I've had, and I've had a lot of interesting ones at ESPN and CBS, and I was a lawyer earlier. This has just been a lot of, I love getting to work each day. I can't wait to get to work each day. Once in a while I say to my wife, I kid her, I said, you know, the weekends are breaking my momentum, you know, and so it's been a lot of fun. And then finally, the people. Love dealing with our tremendous group of presidents and ADs, getting to know some of the student athletes, being in the locker room with some of them, meeting them with great kids, and then dealing with our wonderful staff and dealing with other support people at the universities. That's extremely gratifying. I like people, I enjoy dealing with people. And then my colleagues in the college community. Suddenly you're dealing with ADs all over the college landscape, you're dealing with commissioners, you're dealing with NCAA people. All that is very, very energizing, and it's been a lot of fun.
Well, thanks for taking the time to sit down today. Congratulations again on your contract extension, and looking forward to all the great things to come in the next several years. Thank you.
Thanks, Hali, and thanks for all you do, the great pieces you do for the conference, the great you know, promotion of our student athletes, and also the insights into what they're doing on campus. It's very valuable, and we appreciate what you're doing.
Thank you. Well, we'll definitely catch up soon here as the summer comes to an end, and we look forward to football season, so thanks a lot.
Absolutely. Thank you. Take care.